Hello, welcome to the third day of October 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a daily live exercise that I do at around 5:30 a.m. Every day to go over my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. I also use this time to think about the last 24 hours, how I did with any noteworthy challenges or opportunities that I met, go over my creed and plan for the coming day. But first, let me adjust this just a little bit. Let's do a quick check of the weather, and then we'll get started. Tukey is much less humid today than yesterday. This time it's now exactly 20 degrees and 65% humidity. And as you can see, they put these color-coded zones here, 20 degrees and 65% humidity. It is absolutely perfect. This is, if heaven is a place, this has got to be what it feels like. This is utterly astonishing. And so the green zones delineate that. We're right in today's a green zone day for sure. All right, hello, I'd like to say hello to the new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. Also, a huge thank you to my supporters, my members on YouTube, and my supporters over on Patreon. This is a journal entry, so to speak, a live journal entry. You're welcome to leave comments and criticisms, and I'll read those when I get to the end. But as it's a journal entry, I have latitude to talk about anything I want for as long as I want. So this is a video more about me than about you. But I do it live because I do a better job if there's an opportunity for an audience. So here we go. I do talk about sensitive subjects like death reliably every day. So if that's a sensitive subject for you, just be forewarned. Okay, let's get into it. Let's read the notes from yesterday. From the last 24-hour section, I just have a strange and rather suggestive note here. It says, behind glass. And I expanded on this in my journal entry this morning. One of the things I do before I do this every morning is I write my daily journal entry. And today's entry, which usually refers to the preceding day, noted how I had this experience yesterday at a nearby park where I went to do my daily office hours on Discord, which are from 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Japan time every day, Monday through Friday. I was there, and it was before 10 o'clock. I was there early, 9:30 or something like that. So I had like a half hour. And I just sat there with my little dog in the park. And some noteworthy things. This park is immediately adjacent the Shizutetsu train line, of which trains run at least every 5 minutes, back and forth, each way. It's a short line that connects Shizuoka from Shimizu City, and every 5 minutes there's a train going by. It's short train, just 2 cars, and it provides a nice cadence throughout the day. It's almost like a metronome running the passage of the trains every 5 minutes, pretty much in close succession, going one way or the other. So you've got this kind of a beat going, chug, 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 with the trains passing, setting the baseline. Add to that, in the park that I was in, there was a group of arborists, maybe 5 men, working out of trucks in the various trees in the park, doing their autumn pruning. And they had another truck where they would put the debris. So 3 or 4 men were up in the trees and ladders, and then another man was like taking the stuff that dropped down and putting it into the debris truck. So there was an activity there. Kind of think of that as like a Marachi, or maybe the Clippers, something like that. Again, another feeling of percussion. I also picked up the motions of the foot traffic passing the park between the railroad and on the little road between the railroad and where I sat in the park, looking out on it all. Students, university students on their way to school, starting their day later, their classes starting later in the afternoon, maybe headed towards 10 a.m. classes or something. I saw employees shuffling off, or maybe already started their workday, but off to see clients or whatever they're doing with all their accoutrements. And I saw a slow motion of very old people. There's a nursing home nearby, being escorted by youthful staff on a walk through the community, moving very slowly with the old people looking out at the world from far, far, far away, from wherever it is that old people live, and seeing the world happen around them. And the younger attendants, which I used to be one of them, with a clear and evident haste in their steps, yet restraining that to walk in accord with the old person. It was an interesting, contrast to see the old person moving in their way and the young person moving in the old person's way, but still with the energy of youth. I sat there, and Tim and others that join might remember some of these discussions we've had about the past, about feeling guilt that you're not in retirement, that you're not playing that role, that you're not chipping in and doing your thing. But what I felt wasn't guilt. I didn't feel guilty about it. And then there's also this sense of longing, wanting to be a part of that, that busyness, the clip, clip, clip of the arborists, clippers, the rumble of the trains going by full of people. I can see their heads in the seats as they roll by, some people holding onto the handrail, or the students walking by and the employees walking by this way and that, going off to their respective duties and appointments. And then even the old people walking by with their slow cadence and attendance with their youthful helper. I didn't feel a longing to be a part of that even. There goes the first hornet of the morning. So it wasn't guilt, and it wasn't a longing. So what was it? That comes to the note. The note here says simply, behind glass. Behind glass. What I meant by that? Well, first, the first descriptor I had, and I almost used in my blog, in my journal entry, was like being at the zoo, looking behind, it would have said behind bars, looking at through the zoo, but then I realized that was a rather unflattering portrayal of the people in the workaday world, so I chose behind glass in a museum. Although behind the zoo might be better, because you're watching the various animals go about their thing, doing their livelihood, whatever livelihood they have in there, and you're kind of watching from a distance. But I chose behind glass. And I remember being in a museum with a thick piece of glass, insulated from both touch and even sound, in a hermetically sealed room, although maybe the hermetically sealed is on my side, looking at some exhibit of the past and wondering quietly at it. That's exactly how it felt yesterday, sitting on that bench with my little dog by my side, looking out at the world happening just in front of me. No glass, but I felt like I was behind glass. The arborist clipping away, the helper dragging the limbs, the trains passing every 5 minutes in their rapid cadence, the percussion of the footsteps on the pavement of the students and the workers going by, and the slow motion living of the old people and their attendants passing. And I realized that I was watching this world, this life that I was once a part of which I am still a part, but in a different way, as from behind glass. Just like when we examine something in a museum, we don't feel guilt about examining something from the past, artifacts from the past. We don't feel necessarily a longing to be a part of that. It's just an interest, a curiosity to see all that's happening on the other side of the glass. It's a new perspective and feeling that's coming in this retired life. Not guilt, not longing, just a quiet observance as a museum goer observing with arms folded behind them, witnessing the past that they were once part of. What an interesting experience that was. And then my office hours began at 10 o'clock, and Emily showed up. It's good to see you, Emily, if you see this video. And we had a very nice talk. Okay, now let's go on to the creed. My creed consists of 8 objectives and 35 principles, all of which are detailed, codified, explained in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free at goingalone.org. And if you want to read along, just go to goingalone.org, click on the Read the Book button in the middle of the page, find the chapter titled The Good Life, and we're off and running. I'm going to recite now the 8 objectives, and I'm going to read objective number 8, the objective of balance. Objective number 1 is to be always ready to die. This means I have to have my affairs, my relationships, and my life's work in a settled state, if not complete. 2 is to make good. See, I told you I'd talk about death. 2, but I didn't talk about it in too much detail, did I? 2, to make good and effective use of my time, to live in a way that I'm not wasting my days, which is sometimes I'm starting to realize a double-edged sword, because sometimes I can hold myself to such account to make sure that I'm not wasting my time as to not enjoy life, right? Sometimes it's okay just to be at peace and just to not think or worry or do anything at all. I'm finding my guitar is very helpful to that end. The little $3 guitar that I bought. Let me show you if I haven't shown you before. I love my little guitar. I had a very nice guitar in America, very expensive one, but I gave that up coming to Japan. I thought about getting a guitar when I came here, and guitars are readily available and not expensive here at all. You can get very fine quality guitars for a song. Anyway, this one here was at the flea market, and it was in an old case, and I saw it sitting there. It wasn't even up front, it was behind the cellar, and it was just kind of sitting on the ground. And I went over and I took a look at it, and I picked it up. And I wanted to get a gut string guitar. I didn't want a steel string guitar. And I was holding it like this, and I asked the seller, how much is it? And he said, Gohyaku yen, 500 yen, which is $3. And I thought, well, sold. What risk is there in that, right? So I bought it. I took it to a guitar shop that is within walking distance. Believe it or not, here in Yada, people keep thinking I live in the countryside, but there's a guitar shop right down the street. I can walk there. I took it down there and left it to him to restring, and he fixed this. There's a little bit of damage right here, and he did point out to me that the action is a bit high, and I could, for about 6,000 yen, I can have the fretboard straightened out, which I might actually do. But I thought before I spent that much money on it, I would live with it for a while and see if it finds a place into my life. And boy, has it found a place in my life. Oh my gosh, I love this guitar. I sit with it all the time. I got a good old guitar stand over there at the recycle store. I bought that for $3, and it just sits there all day long, and I strum it all day long. I come out here and I sit here. I've even incorporated it into my Retiring in Japan videos. It has a very nice sound. Now, I won't play it too much in case it wakes my neighbors up. And I did some research. You can see there's some information in there. It's a Fuji guitar. And I did some research about it. Can you see the Japanese writing in there? And this guitar has an interesting story. It's made, and they're still being made. It's a higher end student guitar. So let's say, for example, that the kid, you're a parent and you've got a student, and he or she decides in high school, and they decide that they want to join the guitar club. Well, this is the guitar that you would buy for them. It was made in 1970, and mom would have walked you down to the music store, and you would have, here's the story how it worked. So mom would have walked you down to the guitar store. Her son or daughter decides, let's say it's a son. Her son decides he wants to join the guitar club. That means that mom needs to buy him a guitar. Sensei and all of the other students have Fuji guitars. I'll explain why in just a second, but Fuji is the guitar that you would buy for a student. It would be their first guitar. They would all say, you look around maybe you go to the first meeting of the guitar club, and you're looking at people, and they're sitting there, all the students are sitting there, and, well, what is that guitar you have? Is that a Yamaha? No, this is a Fuji. And then it looks like that person, all your senpai, the people who have gone before you, they're all playing Fuji. And Sensei, who runs the club, says, yeah, Fuji's the one, right? So you go down to the guitar store. So already in the student's mind, they're primed that a Fuji is the guitar they probably want. Even if they don't care about the quality, it's simply that a Fuji guitar is what everybody else has, and you don't want to stand out in Japan. You don't want to show up at the guitar club with a $400 ovation, right? When you don't know how to play the guitar, you want to show up with a guitar like everybody else has. It's part of Japanese culture. It's a human thing too. Anyway, and then when you get to the guitar store, the salesperson at the guitar store is going to, you're with mom, dad's working, so mom takes you to the guitar store, and mom walks you over to the guitar salesperson who has lots and lots of experience with moms showing up with their teenage sons and daughters to buy a guitar. And he'll show you the expensive Yamaha guitar or the Matsushita guitar or something like that. These are the guitars that are known internationally, right? And they're very expensive. And mom's kind of like blanching at the price, right? Oh my gosh. And then the salesman very adeptly says, but for the students, we would like to recommend the Fuji, which is, at the time that this was first sold, it would have been, a $300 guitar, roughly speaking, in today's dollars. It would versus a $500, Yamaha, the $250, $300 guitar. And he would say, well, but there's the Fuji. Now, Fuji is a Japanese guitar manufacturer that only sells their guitars in Japan. These guitars are not made for the international audience. Notice you can see inside the name of the guitar is in Japanese. It's not Yamaha or something like that. It doesn't say Fuji. And that's deliberate. Okay. One of the things that it does is that the mom looks at this and says, Fuji, huh? And then she looks at the first thing she sees is the price tag, $250. Well, that's half the price of the Yamaha. And then the son speaks up and says, yeah, mom, that's the guitar sensei recommended. That's the one all the kids and all the other students have. Yeah, and the kid immediately wants this guitar, right? Now, because it says Fuji, it's suggestive of this is Japan, right? And suggestive of one, Japanese quality, Japanese marketing, targeting the Japanese market. It's going to be a no-nonsense frills guitar, and mom is going to think, and the salesperson is going to actually suggest, Fuji is a great first guitar for a student. Now, later, if they really get into it and they really want it, then maybe someday they can work their way up to a Yamaha. And mom's thinking in her mind, yeah, after he's grown and out of college, he can buy a damn Yamaha for himself, right? For now, Junior's getting a Fuji. So that's the story of the Fuji guitar. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere in Japan. For Japanese people my age, remember this was made in 1970, seeing a Fuji guitar, picking up a Fuji guitar, if they were into guitars when they were in their teens, has a great sense of sentimentality, because this is probably the guitar they had, that they carried around with them everywhere, that they enjoyed. Fuji guitars are very special instruments in the Japanese mind. And I have one now myself. I got it, and it's one, because they're so ubiquitous and everywhere, and they're not expensive guitars. It's a $3 guitar. And I play it all the time. So this has become a very important part of my life. All of that by way of explaining my interest in free time, right? Sitting there strumming my guitar, and I have certain things that I do, is great to that end. That was all for objective number 2, good use of time. Objective number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, precisely those I've outlined in my book. I think they're good, I think they're sound, and I work on them every day. Objective number 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions. So when I feel the emotions rising from my gut into my chest, about to come out through my mouth or my eyes, I can hold on to them, stop them, manage them, find a better way to deal with that. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to my values. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. So I am doing what I can and what I want to do and what is within the scope of my possibility. Like I think I said in yesterday's video, I'm becoming very adept in retirement at saying, no, thank you. I don't want to do that. Nope, I don't do that. Nope, nope, nope. And that's not so much that it's not within my capability. It's just that I don't want to be doing stuff. Number 7 is to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And number 8, the one I'm going to read today, is the principle of, as the objective of balance, of living my life in such a way that I am seemingly walking in equilibrium in both body and mind. Balance. With a quote from Dr. Johnson, and a nod to Evelyn if you're out there. I'm going to put on Dr. Johnson's meandering voice. To have the management of one's own mind is a great art that might be attained in a considerable degree by experience and habitual exercise. Dr. Samuel Johnson. Perfect for this particular objective. The difficult thing of keeping, this is me, the difficult thing of keeping upright, if you couldn't tell, the principle of balance, the objective of balance, the difficult thing of keeping upright and straight and walking forward without too much stagger or sway. I didn't read that right, did I? I got like 4 or 5 false starts, but I still didn't read it right. Let me try that again. The objective of balance. The difficult thing of keeping upright and straight and walking forward without too much stagger or sway. It's no easy thing when ambush comes our way, or when our limbic system kicks in with suggestions, drives, and sudden emotions we did not expect. Like a tightrope walker stepping carefully on the narrow way, with open expanse below and sway and movement everywhere about. I will strive to not fall just now or tomorrow, and I will walk and think each day ready for whatever winds or blinding sunlight or rain or sudden storm or long expanse of burning sun, nod to the desert, or the tedium of no change may come my way. Boy, I'll tell you, sometimes, and if I sound like I'm flattering myself, hey, this is my own journal entry, I can flatter myself. I worked hard on this book, and sometimes I really, when I wrote it down, it came out exactly the way I wanted, and that was an example of it. That's precisely what I wanted to say when I wrote the description of the objective of balance. All right, let's check the weather, and then we'll read comments. Oh, and for today, what am I going to do today? It's Friday today. I'm going to do my normal day. Oh, I did add a new piece to the puzzle of my thinking, right? So before I do this, let me explain this. I said it yesterday, but I'm codifying it, right? So I begin every morning with a journal entry. That journal entry becomes the blog post, which then becomes the body and then the title of the video that I upload in the Retiring in Japan series. So if you wonder about why the title of the video in Retiring in Japan doesn't always match the video, it's because the title doesn't apply to the video very much. It applies to the content of the description. That's the blog post. So it starts off as a post, becomes the content of the video, and then I let it go from there. But as I mentioned yesterday, I was thinking that a good use of my afternoon time would be to re-examine the post in the afternoon light and extract out from the post the hashtags, the principles and objectives that are in my book that I can find within the post. You get it? So it's like where within my writing can I find bits and pieces of my creed? And where can I find them? And can I explore that? And that's exactly what I've begun doing. This is yesterday was my third day to do it. I got kind of a practice run at it, 3 days running. And I do exactly that. I create a blog post, which I then upload to my Going Alone website, which then takes the day's journal entry and it expands it out. It like dissects it, pulls out, here it is again, take it out, move it over here, look, examine it, pull out the objectives and the principles with hashtags, identifying which one they are, and then explaining it, and then giving an actionable moment, an actionable piece from that. I'm very pleased with how this has come out. It's like I have the code. The journal is the expression of my experience within my life utilizing the code, and then the blog post is the dissection of the experience, folding it back in. So here's the code, the blog post, the code, the social media post, and then the blog post pushing back into the code. It's a cycle. As for the temperature, let's see if it's changed much. It's still at 20 degrees and 61. Oh, it's dropped down. It's 20 degrees and now it's 61% humidity. It's dropped down 4%. 20 degrees and 61%. So the humidity has dropped. It's going to be an amazing day today. Oh my gosh. With the humidity dropping and the temperature staying stable, it should be a pure heaven day today. A good day to just to be in the out of doors like this. Maybe I'll take Rudy out for a nice long walk. I certainly will. It's supposed to rain as well. Let's turn on to comments. There's Tim. Good morning, Tim. Weather check for the UK at 9:37 p.m. is 15 degrees and 75% humidity. That's very nice. A little cooler and a little more humid than here. Humidity, calm, cloudy, calm day. Beautiful. Hello, Evelyn. Evelyn says hi to Tim and myself. Tim says hi to Evelyn. Michael Littlejohn, hello to you. Michael Littlejohn says hi. Tim says, we must live in a parallel world. I walked past my old high school today in my morning walk, intermingled with the kids, and suddenly I had gone back 45 years. Quite surreal, but now I'm the old one. Wow. Tim says, I thought, though, I was kind of glad to be the old one and not the student. Hallelujah, brother. Mog, hey Mog, haven't seen you for a while. For those that don't know, Mog goes way back. Longtime friend of the channel. Hi Mog. Hi Kurt, good to catch you live again. Work has been super busy for me, but rewarding. Hope your eye surgery went well. I myself have some vision problems as of late. All the best as always. Thank you for your well wishes, Mog. The surgery was a success. Today, really this weekend is going to be the last weekend that I'm going to be guarded with my eye. Next weekend I should be able to get back out to the garden. I have plans to get back out in the garden. The doctor warned me not to garden after surgery because of the bacteria in the soil out there. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate the well wishes. It's good to see you as well. Tim says $3 is a steal for something that gives pleasure. It sure is. Mog says that's something that I continue to fail at, taking things slow and doing them right. I often find that the work I do in the day is done with the aim to get done with speed in mind, but always, when I talk to my bosses or superiors, they are always methodical and on the surface seem slower, but really they are just more careful and methodical. It's a skill that I think comes with age. I think you're right, but I also think, and I'm just speculating out loud, you might be harder on yourself than you deserve. My personal experience has been that a lot of us perceive ourselves as being disjointed and not in as much control as others might perceive, right? Because sometimes the internal machinations and the decision making, the false starts that we have, get no further than inside of our brain. So the people you see that seem to have it together, that may just be like a duck on the surface. Like they look like they're swimming really good, but underneath they're paddling like crazy. What I would like to say, Mog, though, is that the very fact that you're considering these things, there's a hornet. I think I saw a hornet just fly past me. There it is right there. There it is, right there. Did you guys see that? I had like 5 encounters with them yesterday, and this is the dangerous part of the year. They're very aggressive right now. My neighbor got stung in the face. That was big, man. I'm sure you all saw it. Back to that point, Mog. It was something really, really important that I wanted to say. That I got it back. Okay. The very fact, and I think I'll get a hallelujah from others my age. The very fact that you're considering this stuff, Mog, that you're thinking through that stuff, says a lot about you and your ability to manage your own life and to be in control. I'm really impressed with it. And I'm always really impressed when people, especially when they're still in the thick of it all, are saying such, observant words about their own lives, right? I'm impressed with your thinking, Mog. Tim says, I've been searching for a Doria Oni devil demon head, the same as one you sold that I missed out on, and have found one identical. Ironically, an American seller on eBay, although postage is a little expensive at $20, but I will buy it, I think. Oh, good. You found an Oni. Good. I know you wanted to get a red one, or no, it was the person that bought the red one. They want a blue one, right? I'm glad you found one, Tim. And maybe I'd love to see a photo. Evelyn says, I really enjoyed reading the new blog posts. Oh, thank you, Evelyn. They're a little bit, they're a little bit clinical. I realize, right? They're a little bit, and I actually, they're like the word I would hesitant to use is academic, right? They're a little hard to read. I mean, you have to be somebody that's really into this kind of stuff, I think, to want to read it. It's not very engaging. I think you'll agree, but it serves the purpose. It's like a really ugly tool, right? A really ugly tool that, you look at it, you're like, what the hell does this ugly thing do? Well, it does something really good with what it does. It just looks like, it doesn't look very pretty. That's what that new blog feels like. And I'm going to work on making it better. Claude, hey Claude. Hi to Kurt and company, including the crows. Right there. Good to see you, Claude. Tim says, it was good to see you filming the rice crops being harvested. Is the harvest late? As I was watching another Australian YouTuber blogger living in Japan, and the rice was being harvested about 3 weeks ago. Are you talking about Chani-san, perhaps? She's further south if you're talking about her. And the farmers here in the Valley of Tea tend to both plant and harvest their rice a few weeks later than others, I've noticed. Even if I drive over to Mount Fuji, I noticed that they're like 2 weeks ahead over there. For some reason, I think it's due to the microclimate here, that, yeah, they're definitely a couple weeks behind. And I was noticing the same thing, Yumiko and I watched Chinese videos as well, and I was noticing that they were taking in the harvest a few weeks ago. Mog says, wow, that thing was huge. Also, sorry for the spelling mistakes. It's just gone 10 p.m. here, so bedtime for me. Glad to hear you're well. Thank you very much. Never mind the spelling mistakes. Not a problem at all. It's always kind of fun for me to try to read what people read into what I'm reading, what people mean, rather than what they might actually write. It's fun to do. Also to sometimes, because people are saying something and then the thought will be in like 2 comments, and then there's other people's comments, and to try to skip ahead seamlessly to catch the rest of it. That's so fun. It's like a game for me. Tim says, see ago how they harvested the rice. Yes. Evelyn says, I like clinical. You like clinical? Okay, me too. I like it too. But I won't worry so much about it, because I realize that anybody that's going to read those blog posts is probably, those of us that are in for the more of the depth, right? So I think maybe the clinical nature of it, maybe that's useful. Maybe if it's because you saw the format. The one thing that's not very readable is the quote part. The blog post mechanism Wix that I'm using doesn't do the blog post part. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. But thank you, Evelyn. I really appreciate the feedback. Mog says, and thank you, Kurt. Self-reflection is a method that I've really tried hardest to absorb ever since I read Going Alone. Not only to remind myself that I'm on the correct path, to also reassure myself. Wow, what a great feedback. And yeah, I totally agree. A life of reflection is a very well-lived life, for sure. I mean, it's one of the funnest things. It's also very entertaining, isn't it? I'm really glad to get that feedback from you, Mark, and I'm really glad to hear you're doing well. It sounds like you're also in the thick of it all, right? And at 10 p.m. and you've had a long day. And I hope that you aren't too hard on yourself, right? Because it sounds like you're pursuing a life of virtue and making a strong effort at it, and that is worth a lot of credit. Claude says, and the hornets, I miss their whizzing buzz. They do have a whizzing buzz, don't they? Tim says, yes, Chani, you've been following her for some time. I love Chani. She's great. Every time we watch her videos, I turn to Yumiko. And if you're not watching Chani in Japan, it's a YouTube channel, spelled just like Tim spelled it there, Chani. She's an amazing Australian woman who realized at, the later stage in her life that she wanted to have a great life adventure, and said, by golly, I'm going to do it. And came to Japan. And she has a wonderful, interesting personality and a great way of engaging with life. I think she's a role model in many ways for a very well-lived life. And not to mention her YouTube is fantastic. Her YouTube is at another level. Very, very interesting. Terrific. One of the best YouTubers in Japan, I think. Tim says that hornet looked the same size as the sparrows here in the UK. Actually, Tim, the word... in Japanese, these are called suzume bachi. Bachi is kind of a variation of the word hachi. Hachi means bee. Suzume means sparrow. So they are literally sparrow bees. That's what they're called. So you nailed it in identifying them as sparrow-sized hornets. That thing was huge checking out my coffee cup right here. It was, I mean, it was within, speaking about the objective number 7, to be within, you know, knowing what's within reach, or that was the objective number 8, it was within reach. Pretty scary. Okay, well, I think I've reached the bottom. All right, thanks for everybody for joining me today. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for listening to my long explanation about my little guitar. That was fun too. I wish everybody all the best. Mog, I hope you have a good night's sleep, and I hope that tomorrow you go to do whatever you're going to be doing. It's Saturday, I guess, and do it with peace in your mind and your heart for the good effort that you're clearly making and striving to live your best life. And I want to say the same thing to everybody. Tim says, I admire Chani as it's brave to move to another country to start from scratch. Exactly, and boy, has she done it. She's the poster child for that. Have a great day yourself, Tim. Have a great and wonderful day, everybody. Be safe, but not too safe. And see you on the blog posts, Evelyn. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget, if you're free and you're available at 10 o'clock, I know it's late for a lot of you, every day, Monday through Friday, in Discord, I'll be there. Every day, somebody's coming. I love it. I'm spending time with people every day. Bye-bye, Evelyn. Bye-bye, friends. Take care.